On Christmas Eve, 1945, 5 children disappeared from the Sodder family home. Their parents spent the rest of their lives searching for the truth. Were the children victims of a tragic fire? Or did they somehow survive that terrible night? We may never know. What we do know is that 5 children were lost, and their family never stopped looking for answers. The Sodder children disappearance remains one of America's most mysterious unsolved cases, and the question still remains. What really happened to the 5 Sodder children? If you enjoy historical mysteries and unexplained cases, subscribe for more stories and tell us in the comments. Do you believe the Sodder children died in the fire, or were they taken? What really happened? More than 7 decades later, the Sodder case remains unresolved in the public imagination. There are 2 broad possibilities. The first is that the children died in the fire, and the unusual circumstances surrounding the disaster created questions that could never be fully answered. The second possibility is the one the Sodder family believed, that the children were taken from the home, possibly before or during the fire. But without definitive evidence, the truth remains uncertain. The legacy of the case, the disappearance of the Sodder children, became much more than a family tragedy. It became a mystery passed from one generation to another. The photographs of the missing children, the burned remains of the house, the missing ladder, the cut telephone line, the strange sightings, the mysterious photograph, and the family's decades-long search for answers. Each detail became another piece of a puzzle that has never been completely solved. Perhaps that is why the case continues to fascinate people today, because the most disturbing mysteries are not always the ones with the most evidence. Sometimes they are the ones where one crucial answer is missing. The billboard the Sodders refused to forget their children. They eventually placed a large billboard along a highway. It displayed photographs of the 5 missing children. The message asked people to contact the family if they had any information. The billboard became one of the most recognizable images associated with the case. For years, the family continued searching. They wanted to know whether their children had died in the fire or whether someone had taken them. The kidnapping theory. Kidnapping theory became central to the family's belief about what happened. They suspected that someone may have intentionally started the fire as a distraction. The idea was simple: start a fire, create confusion, remove the children, and allow the destruction of the house to hide what happened. But despite decades of investigation and speculation, no definitive evidence proved such a kidnapping occurred. There was no confirmed location of the children, no confirmed kidnappers, and no conclusive physical evidence establishing that the 5 children survived the fire. Another strange detail involved George Sodder. After the fire, he reportedly noticed marks that appeared to suggest that a vehicle had stopped near the property. The family later wondered whether a car had been involved in removing the children from the area. Again, there was no conclusive evidence proving this theory, but the unanswered questions continued to grow. Why didn't the bodies appear? One of the biggest questions surrounding the case remains the lack of confirmed remains. The Sodder family believed the absence of remains was evidence that the children had survived the fire. However, the condition of a burned wooden house and the circumstances of a fire can make recovery and identification difficult. So the absence of remains does not, by itself, prove that the children were kidnapped. This distinction is important. There is a difference between saying there were no confirmed remains and saying the children definitely survived. The first is part of the historical history. The second remains unproven. The mysterious sightings after the fire. Reports began to emerge that people had supposedly seen the missing children. Some witnesses claimed to have seen children resembling the Sodder siblings in other locations. There were also reports of possible sightings at hotels and other places, but none of these sightings were conclusively verified. Years later, another disturbing clue appeared. The family received an anonymous photograph showing a young man who supposedly resembled one of the missing Sodder children. Written on the back was a mysterious message. The family believed the photograph could be evidence that one of their children had survived, but the identity of the man in the photograph was never conclusively established. The telephone call, one of the most unusual details, involved the family's telephone. On the night of the fire, the family reportedly discovered that the telephone line had been cut. That meant the Sodders could not simply call for help from inside the house. The family also reported that several other unusual things happened that night. A car was reportedly seen near the house, and one of the children had apparently received a strange telephone call earlier that evening. None of these details by themselves proved that the children had been kidnapped, but together, they convinced the Sodder family that the fire might not have been an accident. The ladder then. There was the missing ladder. George reportedly tried to use a ladder to reach the upper floors of the burning house, but the ladder was not where it was normally kept. Later, it was reportedly discovered some distance away from the house. If true, this raised an obvious question. Why had the ladder been moved on the night of the fire? Was it simply displaced during the chaos, or had someone deliberately moved it? There was never a definitive answer. The first mystery after the fire. The family expected investigators to find the remains of the 5 children, but they didn't. No clearly identifiable remains were recovered from the ruins. This became the central mystery of the Sodder case. How could 5 children disappear in a house fire? The official explanation was that the children had died in the fire, but George and Jennie Sodder were not convinced. They believed something else had happened. They began looking closely at the events surrounding the fire, and they discovered a series of strange details. It was Christmas Eve, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia. The Sodder family was preparing to celebrate Christmas. George and Jennie Sodder had 10 children, and their home was filled with the excitement of the holiday. But shortly after midnight, everything changed. A fire broke out inside the house. George and Jennie managed to escape with several of their children, but 5 children were still inside. They were Maurice, Martha, Louise, Jennie, and Betty. The parents desperately tried to get back inside, but the house was already filling with flames. George attempted to reach the children through windows. He also tried to use a ladder to climb toward the upper floors. But according to the family, the ladder that normally stood near the house was missing. The fire destroyed the building remarkably quickly, and by the time firefighters arrived, the house was already beyond saving. 5 children vanished on Christmas Eve, 1945. Their family home burned to the ground in the middle of the night. But when investigators searched the ruins, they found something deeply disturbing. No confirmed remains of the 5 children. Was the fire a tragic accident? Or was it possible that the children had been taken before the flames destroyed their home? For decades, the Sodder family searched for answers, and what happened that night remains one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries.